Ross and Klineman dominate the beach for gold. Saturday could be golden day for Team USA. How the NFL is setting the example when it comes to vaccines. The lasting and disappointing legacy of the Tokyo OlympicsTokyo Olympics has brought many sweet and heroic moments. Here are some we'd like to share. USWNT leave with bronze. US men's relay disappoints. Friday medals in climbing. 400 meters track armor. You're not American if you rooted against USWNT. Paul Tagliabue headlines Pro Football Hall of Fame Centennial Class of 2020. Brisbane, Australia celebrates after being confirmed as 2032 Olympic Games host. And miss the USA Today High School Sports Awards show Thursday at 8 p.m. Astros get rude welcome at sold-out Dodger Stadium where skating Olympic medalist Jagger Eaton is keeping his medal. Sydney McLaughlin breaks own world record. Thursday has beach volleyball semis and USWNT for Simone Biles' legacy. Medals will be secondary to her impact on mental health. 7 Olympic athletes share how they mentally prepare for competition. Exclusive. The moment Simone Biles put mental health before Olympics sports seriously, but the deal also signifies the successful execution of a carefully crafted plan for developing the number 7 overall pick in 2018 into a franchise quarterback. Load era. Allen deserves credit for the work that he has put in each year. But the efforts of the Bills' front office and coaching staff have factored greatly into Allen's journey from big-armed prospect and apparent bust midway through his rookie season to MVP candidate and now the league's second highest paid player in average annual salary. Bills general manager Brandon Beane and coach Sean McDermott got it right and, in so doing, offered a blueprint on how to turn around a franchise and position a young quarterback for maximum success. Based on how many highly touted quarterbacks and corresponding lucrative investments into them have failed in NFL history, it's clear drafting and developing a franchise passer is anything but simple. For Beane and McDermott, the plan was straightforward. After committing fully to it and never wavering, the Bills and Allen are reaping the benefits. After making the massive extension official, Beane agreed to pull back the curtain for USA Today Sports and provide insight on how Buffalo got to this point. When Beane and McDermott assumed control of the Bills in 2017, the former Carolina Panthers co-workers inherited a team on a 17-year playoff drought. Bills Mafia desperately craved a return to the glory years of the 1990s, and ever since Jim Kelly's retirement in 1996, the team's quarterback position largely had represented a revolving door. The first question was, how are we going to get a quarterback? Let's look at the 2018 class. Let's figure out our current roster in 2017 and figure out what pieces we want to keep and what pieces we would be able to build to get extra draft capital for. Beane explained told USA Today Sports, we moved wide receiver Sammy Watkins, cornerback Ronald Darby, defensive tackle Marcel Darius later just to add draft capital for the 2018 draft, which we knew was going to have some quarterbacks in it, and that was before we ever went and saw Josh Allen play live. In the months after ending their postseason drought, the Bills swung multiple deals to trade up, first from number 21 to number 12 and then to number 7, where they took Allen out of Wyoming, but getting a quarterback wouldn't automatically translate into success. Unlike some rebuilding franchises leaders who first obtain their quarterback and then hope he can carry the team, the Bills' brain trust knew any rookie passer, no matter how talented, would have little chance to excel given the state of the roster. The other thing was the salary cap was not organized or set up for long-term success, especially for a team that had not been a consistent playoff team, Beane said. There was just too much money on the books. So, we decided, while we plan to draft a quarterback in 2018, we're also going to get the cap fixed. The salary cap purges of 2017 and 2018 allowed the Bills to hit a spending reset in 2019. But the Bills also used Allen's rookie season to fully assess the QB's play. Early on, it wasn't pretty. Unlike peers Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, who provided instant impacts once they took the reins as starters, Allen's career got off to a shaky start. He had all the physical tools, a 6'5", 237-pound build, a cannon for an arm and impressive mobility, but Allen's struggles with accuracy and decision-making were alarming, at least from the outside. He completed only 52.8% of his passes, last among qualified passers that season, and threw 12 interceptions to 10 touchdowns. Many analysts believed Allen had bust written all over him, but Allen's coaches and GM understood the cause for some of his most consistent transgressions. Josh's biggest problem, and if you go back to Wyoming and if you look at his errors, he threw picks and did some dumb things. Beane said, Josh has always been the best athlete, he's always been a fireball, even in high school, and it didn't matter what sport it was. So, he does want the ball in his hands, and you want that from someone of his talent. But it was getting him to understand that you don't have to do it all yourself, and that was the biggest thing, I thought, his rookie year. We're down 2 touchdowns, so I'm just going to throw a bomb here, and we're going to get 7, they'll go 3 and out, and I'm going to do it again. Just like that, we'll be back. But it was understanding how the game's played and understanding what kind of game we're in. The Bills did observe encouraging signs, even though he made a lot of mistakes as a rookie, it wasn't ever like he was out of place in the huddle, Beane said. I've seen rookies walk into huddles and it looks like a kid stepping into a grown man's game. Guys by the middle of that year were really starting to rally around him. And I think word started to get around, and that helps attract other players here to Buffalo, which had been an issue here for so long. Allen's bosses identified the problems and how to fix them. They knew Allen at times got overwhelmed, trying to make sure both he and his receivers knew where to be, and which blitzes the line needed to be mindful of. Some of his interceptions also were a result of young receivers being out of place. One of the things we learned in talking to offensive coordinator Brian DeBole is, he just needs some guys that he knows are going to be in the right spot. Some veteran guys that can help him, Bean said. Guys he could trust to be where he needed them to be. Enter the 2019 acquisitions of veteran wide receivers Cole Beasley and John Brown. The Bills also drafted and signed a total of 7 offensive linemen to improve protection. Armed with improved weapons, Allen began to settle down and trust his teammates to make plays. He also started to better grasp when to go for broke and when to cut his losses. Allen improved his completion percentage to 58.5% and threw 20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. The Bills went from 6-10 in 2018 to 10-6 a year later, and they made the playoffs. Buffalo's mission of improving the supporting cast continued the following year as they traded for a legitimate star wideout in Stephon Diggs and drafted another big target in UCF's Gabriel Davis. From there, the quarterback, and the Bills as a whole, continued to ascend, ranking second in the NFL in points 31.3 and yards 396.4 per game, going 13-3 and reaching the AFC Championship game, where they lost to the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Allen ranked 5th in the NFL with 4,544 passing yards, 5th with 37 touchdown passes, 4th in completion percentage 69.2%, and threw just 10 interceptions. He's still the biggest piece, Bean said. This dude is driven. He is ultra competitive. He is ultra smart. After Allen made another seismic leap forward in 2020, extending him was a no-brainer. The Bills knew they would have to fork over a hefty chunk of cash following the record-setting contracts Mahomes and Deshaun Watson signed the year before. And they saw no point in waiting until he played out his 5th-year option to negotiate, as they knew the quarterback market would only further drive up the price. What helped, however, was Allen's willingness to agree to an extended deal rather than a common 4-year pact. The additional 6 years tacked onto the final 2 years of his existing deal helped Bean and his financial team spread the money out over a longer period of time. It's never going to be easy giving someone $40+ million a year, but it's a quarterback league, and you've got to have them. Those prices are always going to be going up, Bean said. Josh wanted to have his worthy amount, but he was willing to structure something a little longer, which would help us working with the cap. It was a win-win because he got what he wanted and we have a guy now for the next 8 years that we know what his cap numbers are going to be. So if we have someone we need to extend here or need to bring someone in from the outside, we'll have a better idea of how all of that needs to be structured because we know what Josh's numbers are, so we can stay within the cap. With the future of their union now resolved, the Bills and Allen can focus exclusively on continuing their climb. The quarterback's confidence is at an all-time high, those close to him say, and his leadership and command of the offense continue to improve as well. Buffalo's grand plan all sounds so logical. But teams often struggle to execute similarly because they're guilty of expecting a talented quarterback to mask their deficiencies. Buffalo, meanwhile, found it equally important to ensure maximum support for Allen. The Bills got it right. Coach and GM attacked their mission in lockstep, which isn't always common in a league filled with so many powerful and ego-driven men. Now, the both franchise and quarterback are reaping the fruits of their labor.